Welcome, everybody, to the Love Is podcast. I am so happy to be here today with Andrew Erwin. You are one of my favorite people, I gotta say. 'Cause you just do it right. Here you were, this kid with a camera, and then you went from as a teenager working for ESPN behind a camera to now making some of the greatest movies. Truly, I say that not to anyone but you in the whole world. Some of the greatest movies that have come out in the last 20 years have all been your movies. And I love them. I love how you take a story and you bring it to life in a very unique way. Not everybody has the gift that you've got, Andrew. I love it. And now you've got this new one after Jesus Revolution, after I Can Only Imagine, after Ordinary Angels, and so many others. And now Unsung Hero. And what a great film. How do you find these incredible stories to tell? How do you find them?
Well, I appreciate that, my friend. I'll squirm in the compliment, but I'll receive the heart of it because I feel like we're all stumbling forward trying to make an impact and tell stories that it's such an imperfect science. But we're grateful that I think that faith film as a whole has made huge strides over the past 10 years, and I'm grateful to be maybe part of that equation. My brother's been a big part of it as well, and then there's other storytellers that have come along, like Brent McCorkle that told Jesus Revolution with us, or John Gunn that told Ordinary Angels with us. And I think the exciting thing is we're not that smart. We don't go out and say, "Oh, this is the next story we have to do." God just has a way of dropping ones in our lap. We're like, "Oh, we get to tell that one? That's
Mm.
amazing!" And we just try to do the best we can with the material. We gravitate towards true stories. But the cool thing that's happening right now that we dreamed of was finally getting to a place in this industry to where the foundation had been laid, to where now we can go out and recruit other filmmakers that we trust their voices. And we just go to them and kind of say, what story do you want to tell? Does that connect with the audience that we serve? And do we know how to tell it? And if we do, and we come up with the right idea, here's the keys to the car. It's yours to drive. And we just become a support system of, any of our films that get released, if it's done right, every filmmaker in our circle has their fingerprints on it. And we try to set each other up to win. And selfishly, I do that because I'm one of the filmmakers. And when it's my turn to tell a story, I want help as much as the next person. But
Yeah.
this one, Unsung Hero, came to us from an unlikely source. It was a musician friend of mine that had always dreamed of being a film director. And so it was Joel Smallbone with the band for King and Country. And Joel and I have been dear friends for about 12 years. And he brought this story. He said, I want to tell my parents' story of what they went through when they lost everything when they moved to the United States from Australia, and the struggle we had to fight to survive, and how it united us as a family. And he said, I want to play my father, and I want to direct it, and I want to shoot it in 3 months while we're on break from tour. And I was like, you're crazy. You're a crazy person.
No.
But I was like, you're crazy enough to pull it off. So I'll go with you. And if it means we all go down with the ship, we go down with the ship. And we went to make the film. There's a group of us. Candace Cameron Bure came on board to executive produce it with me, and Josh Walsh produced it. Great team. And it got to the last day of filming, and I looked over at Joel and I said, you no longer have to say that you are, a musician that desires to be a storyteller one day or has a dream. You're one of us now. You're a filmmaker. I was like, welcome to the club. You did it. And we all gave high fives knowing that we just made a really special movie. And so this one just is something really, really extraordinary.
It really is. You're bringing tears to my eyes, actually. And
Oh
I'll
man.
warn anybody who goes to see the movie, bring Kleenex with you because there are some big tear-jerking moments. There's some funny
Yeah.
moments and there's some great, powerful moments, but there are some tear-jerking moments in there. And the title, Unsung Hero, after the song that they came out with, I think it's been a couple of years since that song's been out. But what a perfect name, because
Yeah.
they're unsung heroes. And actually, I look at you, Andrew, and you're kind of an unsung hero because you're the guy behind the scenes, but you bring these things to us and it affects so many people's lives. And I know that it does. I think of that song sometimes, the one about, when the guy gets to heaven and people are coming up to him,
Yeah. Yep.
thank you, right, for giving to the
Thank you
Lord.
for giving to the Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have that experience. That will
Well,
be a cool experience for you
thank
someday.
you.
Yeah, so I heard
Yeah.
that the way you met Joel and
Hmm.
Luke was because of their dad. They were
Yeah.
opening Casting Crowns, and
Yep.
their dad kind of collared you and dragged you into
Yeah.
the dressing room.
That's exactly what happened. It was David Smallbone, who Joel plays in the film, his father, is a strong cup of coffee. Like he is that man is intense. And he's kind of old school Australian, very blue collar. And so the guys had just started their music career. Like I think originally when they started singing, they were called Joel and Luke, and they went through a couple of band names, and they had just changed their name to For King and Country. And they were opening for Casting Crowns, and we used to do music videos for Casting Crowns. So I was promoting Mom's Night Out at the time, which was our second movie, and it was a comedy, and so I was there showing it to Casting Crowns that night, and in the midst of it all, uh, 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 David Smallbone sees me, realizes I'm a filmmaker, and he comes up and grabs me physically by the collar, and he said, "You've got to come meet my boys." So he grabs me, pushes me into their locker room, and he says, "We're about to do devotions, and you need to sit in on devotions." And I was like, "Well, I'm kind of busy." He's like, "You're a Christian, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're sitting in on devotions." So then he puts the devotion book in my hand and has me read it. I'm shaking because like I don't know who all these people are, and there's like 12 people in this locker room. I don't know any of them. I read the devotion, and then afterwards he said, "These are my boys. This is Joel. Joel wants to act one day, so you're going to be talking to him some more." And then he takes me over to the front row of the stands, and he said, "You got to watch him play." And he sits me down in the front row, and they came out and played the concert, and it was earth shaking. I've never seen a concert like that. I was like, man, what a an amazing moment. And I was like, that's something I haven't heard before, especially in the Christian space. And that's where we became friends, and we were kind of forced together by David Smallbone, but it was kind of meant to be. And along the way, Joel has spoken into my films over the years, and I've given him little bits and pieces of ideas and thoughts on his musical journey and his music videos. And we've been fast friends. But this one was his story to tell, and he's a force of nature when it comes to film. He's got a bright future in this space.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. And I know it's a passion of his. And so it's what a great opportunity that he could play his dad and direct. I
Yep.
mean, how hard is that to do both of those things at the same time?
Oh, because he's my friend, I really tried hard to kind of put on a strong face. I was like, "Yeah, you got this. You're going to do great." Behind the scenes, I was like, "This could be really bad. This could be a failure. This is really hard to do." Like Mel Gibson on Braveheart made it look easy, but like that's hard to do. But Joel went and grew out his beard, grew out his hair, came in unrecognizable. We didn't even know it was him, and he made something so textured and so interesting. I'm beyond proud of what he
Mhm.
did, and people are going to turn some heads. We did a movie screening the other day in LA for some heavy hitters. So it was a room of about 75 of the most influential Christians in the entertainment space. So Mel Gibson was in the room, and Kelsey Grammer, and Zachary Levi, and the list went on and on and on. Everybody was in this room, and at the end of the film, they gave him a standing ovation. Him and
Mhm.
Daisy Betts, that plays Helen, the mom. And they were just like, "You're an actor. You're a real actor." And so I'm really proud of him because it's not an easy feat to do one of those, much less both.
Wow. Okay. So you're making me cry again. That had to be such a moving moment, that standing ovation. And yeah, Mel did make it look easy, but he had a couple films under his belt before then.
Yeah,
And yeah, I know Joel's done some acting, but not like this was huge. He's done some stuff, but to direct and
yeah,
act, I don't know. I mean, he obviously has learned a lot from you along the way. I love what you said too, Andy, about how you surround yourself with good people and then you trust
mhm,
them. And
yep.
that's not something a lot of people know how to do or have found those people that they can really trust. How have you found great people? Do they just kind of come your way? Is God just going, hey, you got to meet this guy. He's the greatest guy. You want to be part of what he's doing, or what happens?
You know, I think God's gracious. I think it's out of necessity. Vulnerability is created in your life through challenges, struggle, failures, and pain. And you have no choice but to be the authentic you. You know, we
Mm,
can fake it as much as try to, but when you're presented with life struggles, it really forces the real you out. And in that, you have a choice to keep burying it and running away from it, or to expose it and say, I need help. And I think along the way, when you become vulnerable, I think vulnerable people attract vulnerable people. And so you find people that have that same desire to be authentic, to be real, to help each other. And so I'm grateful that when we started this film thing, there weren't a lot of us doing it, period, much less like-minded people. But along the way, we've all stumbled into each other and found each other. And there's a small community of vulnerable people trying to do stories the right way.
mm,
And we lift each other up. And it's the Ronald Reagan quote. It's amazing what you can do when you don't care who gets the credit.
mm.
And so God is really on the move in this space and doing some special things. And for me, I'm just grateful to be a part of a community that I respect and I trust. So in the making of this film, whether it was, Joel or Candace or Josh or, on down the line of the people that helped make this movie, we were a team. And I think we all can take little credit for little signatures on the film. Ultimately, it's Joel and Richie, the director's movie, and they're the one that get the majority of the credit. But we all were part of a team, and it's an amazing experience to win as a team. So really proud of them.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, and the whole team thing though it always just comes from the top on down, right? Like anybody I talk to that's in the Chosen, and talking to Dallas and whoever, Chosen is so huge, but they all talk about how the set is so different than other things that they worked on. And it's because
Yep.
Dallas paves the way, he sets the tone. And so for this movie, it'd be the same thing, or anything that you're involved in, you set the tone for it, right? You get to decide what the climate's going to be like, and then
Yeah.
people follow your lead. So
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool thing when you can
Thank you.
unite a bunch of people and make a great movie and do what
Thank
you're
you.
doing. Yeah, I love it. And I love your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
That means a
yeah.
lot.
Storytelling, it's so good. Like, it's so good. Every episode, I've watched every episode, and
Wow.
it's so good. Yeah.
That means
You
a lot. That one's been fun. I really that makes my day that you're listening to it or watching it. It started just out of an idea that we'd like to have a conversation and let people be a fly on the wall with conversations we have with other, you know, famous friends in the space and kind of share the journey. And it's already conversations we're having behind closed doors, but we just kind of let people come on in and just have a conversation with us. And the guests that have said yes to it, I've felt like it'd been a treat for me, to like sit down with people like Randall Wallace and talk about Braveheart, or to sit down like the episodes we have coming up. I've got a chance to sit down with one of my mentors, Gary Sinise. His episode's coming out soon, and then you got like we're going to sit down with Hillary Swank and all these different people. Just allows us to understand what makes them tick and what makes fuels their stories and the stories that have inspired them, that have resulted in the stories that have inspired us. And so grateful to be on that journey, and the fact that you're listening, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah, well, it's so good. It's really good. Everybody should listen to it. And we'll tell them in a second where they can find it. But I like watching it on YouTube because I like watching and listening at the same time. But
Thank you.
so, yeah, so I know that we're short on time. And so I've got one last question for you.
Yeah.
And before you tell us, where to go see the film and all of that. And I don't know if you remember this or not from the last time we talked, but I lost my husband 15 years ago, and I
Yeah.
decided to figure out the true meaning of love, to honor
Wow.
him in his life, to really figure out what love really is. And so I went on this journey in Haiti that was
Mm.
crazy, chased by a motorcycle gang. I mean, all kinds of things happened.
Wow.
But the things I found out about love just rocked my world, just changed my life. It was this eat, pray, love, crazy experience, but it was so good and so powerful. And so I'm always curious, because of the things that I discovered about love, what what is love to you? How does love play a role in what you do in life and who you are in life?
Man, that's a great question. Every time you tell your story, it always gives me chills. That's an amazing journey that you've been on, and I think there's a power to that journey. I think for me, love and true love, like unselfish, selfless, redemptive love. Um, it just softens the toughest heart. Um, I think this movie talks about the unsung hero, but the real unsung hero of the family is this wife, Helen, that when her husband falls apart, she holds her family together, and something that could have been traumatic, she turned into an adventure. And it was love that held that family together, the love of God and the love for each other. And, the theme of the movie is the idea that if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And so I think, for me, the unsung hero of my life, my family, is my wife, Mandy. Mandy is like, she does not have a mean bone in her body. She has
Mm.
had challenges in her life that she's had to face, but some people that makes them bitter, and some people it makes them sweeter. And I'm lucky to be married to the one of the ones that God used it to make her sweeter. And so along the way, being married to a filmmaker is a tough assignment. But the power, the love, the vulnerability that comes across in the stories we tell, I think are a reflection of the woman I'm married to. And so that's really what I think God uses to change and soften hearts and soften mine.
I love that. I love that answer. So first, your podcast. Tell everybody where to go see your podcast.
Yeah, so it's called The Storytellers with Andrew Erwin. You can see it on our YouTube channel, Kingdom Story Company's YouTube channel. You can also see it wherever podcasts are available, Spotify, Apple, and you can get it wherever you get podcasts. But we're slowly growing the audience. Our like I think the guest lists are amazing, and the audience is slowly kind of discovering us. And so we just feel really privileged to be able to kind of step into this new world and explore it. And it's just a new form of telling people stories that I'm getting a lot out of. So love for people to join us on that journey.
Absolutely. And then Unsung Hero comes out
Yeah.
on
It's
Friday.
out. I mean, it's out. Like it's out. It's out now. Tomorrow night, Friday night, it's going to be out everywhere. It's in a certain number of theaters tonight. You can go see it tonight or see it this weekend, but see it this weekend at some point, because that opening weekend is what makes the statement that allows things to have a really nice platform and make a difference. And so it's everywhere. You can go to our website, tickets.unsunghero.movie, and tickets.unsunghero.movie. You can get tickets now. It'll show you what theaters are close to you, so you can kind of purchase tickets, and just help get the word out. I mean, we're word of mouth. So if you like it, like, tell 5 friends, and that's going to be how we grow this thing. And it's a great movie that deserves to be seen on the biggest screen possible.
Yeah, and it's so good. This is how good it is. It is so good that if you go to the movie and you don't like it, you look me up and I will give you your money back because it's
Dude, you
that
just became
good.
our best friend. That's awesome. I love that. The guarantee stamp of approval.
Guaranteed.
And I will
100%.
back that up. I will back that up. It is worth the price of admission. You're not going to have any refunds.
100%. 100%. Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us. I so appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you for giving to the world everything that you give. And thank you to your wife, who obviously is an incredible woman behind an incredible man. So thanks for being with us on the Love Is podcast. And until next time, God bless you.